The day started like any other on Earth. People went about their daily lives, unaware that everything was about to change. In New York, Sarah grabbed her morning coffee. In Tokyo, Hiroshi finished his late-night work. In Lagos, Adebayo prepared to open his shop. None of them knew they were living their last moments of normal life. High above the planet, beyond the reach of Earth's most powerful telescopes, a massive fleet appeared out of nowhere. Thousands of ships, each larger than a city, emerged from hyperspace. They formed a ring around the planet, their sleek designs unlike anything humans had ever built. The first sign of trouble came when all electronic devices on Earth went crazy. TVs showed only static. Phones lost signal. The internet went down. Chaos erupted as people realized something was very wrong. Then, every screen on the planet lit up with the same image. A creature appeared, humanoid but clearly alien. It had blue skin, 4 eyes, and tentacles where a mouth should be. When it spoke, its words were somehow understood by everyone, no matter their language. People of Earth, the alien said, its voice deep and powerful. We are the Galactic Empire. Your planet now belongs to us. Resist, and you will be destroyed. Surrender, and you may live as our subjects. You have one Earth day to decide. The message repeated over and over. Panic spread across the globe. In Washington, D.C., the president called an emergency meeting. In Beijing, military leaders rushed to their war rooms. In Moscow, scientists tried to understand the alien technology that had so easily taken over their systems. As day turned to night, the alien ships became visible to the naked eye. They glowed with an eerie blue light, a constant reminder of the threat looming over humanity. People gathered in streets, in churches, in bars, anywhere they could find comfort in numbers. Some prayed, some cried, some got drunk. But in every crowd, there were those who stood tall, their eyes filled with determination. These were the ones who refused to give up hope. In a secret underground lab in Geneva, Dr. Elena Rodriguez worked furiously. She had been developing new defense technologies for years. This is what we've been preparing for, she told her team. We may be outgunned, but we're not beaten yet. Halfway across the world, in a small town in Kansas, a farmer named John looked up at the sky. He turned to his wife and said, "Mary, get my old rifle. I don't care if they've got spaceships. Nobody's taking our home without a fight." As the deadline approached, world leaders gathered via secure channels. The debate was heated. Some argued for immediate surrender, hoping to save lives. Others insisted on fighting, no matter the cost. In the end, it was the president of a small African nation who swayed the vote. "We have faced colonizers before," she said, her voice firm. "We did not bow then. We will not bow now. Earth is our home. It is not for sale or surrender." The decision was made. Earth would fight. As the 24-hour mark neared, tension built across the planet. In orbit, the alien ships hummed with energy, ready to unleash their power. On the ground, humans held their breath, waiting for the world to end or for a miracle to happen. At exactly 24 hours after their first message, the aliens broadcast again. The same blue face appeared on screens worldwide. "Your time is up," it said. "What is your answer?" In every capital, in every language, the response was the same. Millions of voices joined as one, shouting to the heavens. "Earth declares, no entry for the Galactic Empire." For a moment, the world held its breath. Then the sky lit up. The battle for Earth had begun. As the first explosions rocked the planet, something unexpected happened. The alien weapons, designed to obliterate whole continents, fizzled against an invisible shield. Dr. Rodriguez's team cheered. Their secret defense grid, hidden in plain sight as a network of cell phone towers, was working. The humans had surprised the Galactic Empire. But this was only the beginning. The real war was just starting, and nobody knew how it would end. One thing was certain: Earth wasn't going down without a fight. The world was in chaos. Alien ships filled the sky, their weapons temporarily held back by Earth's unexpected defense. But everyone knew this was just the beginning. In Washington, D.C., world leaders gathered for an emergency summit. The meeting room was tense. Presidents, prime ministers, and kings argued loudly about what to do next. "We should surrender," shouted the French president. "Look at their ships. We can't win." "Never," yelled back the Russian leader, pounding his fist on the table. "We will fight to the last man." As the shouting got louder, a quiet voice spoke up. It was Dr. Elena Rodriguez, the scientist behind Earth's surprise defense. "We have a chance," she said. All eyes turned to her. "Our shield won't last forever, but it gives us time. Time to prepare, to fight back." The room fell silent. Then, slowly, heads began to nod. Hope spread like a wave through the room. "What do you need?" asked the U.S. president. "Everything," Dr. Rodriguez replied. "Every scientist, every resource. We need the whole world working together." And so, Operation Earth Defense began. While the leaders planned, ordinary people around the world sprang into action. In New York, Sarah organized a neighborhood watch, keeping an eye out for alien activity. In Tokyo, Hiroshi used his computer skills to join a global network of hackers, searching for weaknesses in alien communications. In Lagos, Adebayo turned his shop into a community center, distributing food and information. The aliens, surprised by Earth's resistance, changed their tactics. They sent smaller ships to land in remote areas. Their plan was to establish bases and attack from within. But they underestimated human determination. In the Amazon rainforest, a group of indigenous people spotted an alien landing. Using nothing but traditional weapons and deep knowledge of the jungle, they ambushed the aliens. The blue-skinned invaders, used to high-tech warfare, were no match for poison darts and clever traps. News of this victory spread quickly, inspiring others. In the mountains of Afghanistan, old enemies put aside their differences to fight the new threat. In the Australian outback, farmers and truckers formed convoys to patrol the vast empty lands. Meanwhile, in secret labs around the world, scientists worked day and night. They studied the alien technology from captured ships and weapons. Every small discovery was shared globally. Dr. Rodriguez led the efforts from her base in Geneva. She hadn't slept in days, running on coffee and determination. "We're close to something big," she told her team. "I can feel it." In orbit, the alien fleet grew restless. Their initial attack had failed, and now they were losing ground forces. The four-eyed alien commander paced on his ship, his tentacles twitching with anger. "Enough," he roared. "Prepare the planet cracker." The planet cracker was the Empire's most powerful weapon. It could split a world in two. As the massive ship moved into position, fear spread across Earth. This was it, the final test. But humanity wasn't done yet. In a small lab in India, a young scientist named Priya had a breakthrough. She found a way to use the aliens' own energy against them. The design was sent to Dr. Rodriguez, who immediately saw its potential. "This is it," she shouted, startling her tired team. "Quick, we need to modify the shield." As the planet cracker charged up, ready to destroy Earth, every TV and phone lit up. It was Dr. Rodriguez. "People of Earth," she said, her voice tired but strong. "The enemy is about to use their strongest weapon. But we are ready. No matter what happens, stay strong. Believe in each other. We will survive." The planet cracker fired. A beam of unimaginable power shot towards Earth. Everyone held their breath, waiting for the end. But the end didn't come. Instead, the beam hit Earth's shield and bounced back. It struck the alien fleet, destroying hundreds of ships in an instant. The night sky lit up with explosions. For a moment, the whole world was silent. Then, as one, people began to cheer. From New York to Lagos, from Tokyo to London, The sound of celebration filled the air. The battle wasn't over. The alien fleet was damaged, but not destroyed. But for the first time since the invasion began, the people of Earth knew for certain they had a chance. They could win. As the cheers echoed around the world, Dr. Rodriguez smiled. "Round 2, she whispered. "Let's show them what humanity can really do." The cheers of victory had barely died down when Earth faced its next challenge. The alien fleet, though damaged, was far from defeated. As the smoke cleared, the remaining ships regrouped. The four-eyed commander, furious at the unexpected setback, prepared for a new strategy. On Earth, Dr. Elena Rodriguez knew they couldn't rest. "We've won a battle, not the war," she told world leaders in an emergency meeting. "We need to push our advantage." The leaders agreed. Operation Earth Defense entered its next phase. Project Starburst. The plan was bold. Earth would not just defend. It would take the fight to the aliens. But for that, they needed spaceships of their own. In sprawling factories that once made cars and airplanes, workers now built Earth's first space fleet. Engineers worked around the clock, combining human ingenuity with reverse-engineered alien tech. The result was a new kind of ship, smaller than the alien vessels, but faster and more agile. As the fleet took shape, a call went out for pilots. Astronauts, fighter pilots, and even video gamers answered. Among them was Jin, a young Korean esports champion. "If I can pilot a virtual spaceship," he said with a grin, "how hard can a real one be?" Training was intense. The recruits learned to fly in simulators based on captured alien ships. They practiced day and night, preparing for the battle that would decide Earth's fate. Meanwhile, the alien commander grew desperate. His superiors in the Galactic Empire were not pleased with his failure. In a last-ditch effort, he decided to unleash a deadly biological weapon. But once again, human resourcefulness came to the rescue. In a lab in Kenya, Dr. Amina Okoro had been studying alien biology. She discovered a crucial weakness in their immune system. "We can't stop the weapon," she told Dr. Rodriguez over a secure line. "But we can protect ourselves." A global vaccination program began. In record time, billions were inoculated. When the aliens released their bioweapon, they were shocked to see it had no effect. The alien commander couldn't believe it. "How?" he roared, his tentacles flailing. "How do they keep surviving?" On Earth, the first ships of the new fleet were ready. In a ceremony watched by billions, the flagship Terra Nova launched. As it rose into the sky, Captain Maria Santos, a veteran pilot chosen to lead the mission, sent a message to all of humanity. "Today, we are not just defending our home. We are taking back our sky. No matter where we came from, what language we speak, or what we believe in, we are all Earth's children. And together, we will show the universe what that means." As the Earth fleet assembled in orbit, the aliens prepared for battle. Both sides knew this would be the decisive encounter. The fight began at dawn. Earth's ships, darting and weaving, took the larger alien vessels by surprise. Captain Santos led the charge, her skills honed by countless hours in the simulator. On the ground, people watched the battle through powerful telescopes. In New York, Sarah cheered as an Earth ship took down an alien cruiser. In Lagos, Adebayo held his breath as explosions lit up the sky. But the tide turned when the alien flagship entered the fray. Its weapons were devastating, destroying several Earth ships in seconds. "We need a plan," shouted Jin, his gaming skills keeping him alive but barely. Captain Santos saw an opportunity. "All ships, form up on me," she ordered. "We're going in." In a daring move, the Earth fleet clustered together, presenting a single target. The alien commander took the bait, ordering all power to his main gun. But as the alien weapon charged, the Earth ships scattered. Too late, the alien commander realized his mistake. His ship, its energy drained for the massive attack, was defenseless. Captain Santos didn't hesitate. For Earth, she cried, leading the final assault. The alien flagship exploded in a brilliant flash. As debris rained down, burning up in the atmosphere, the remaining alien ships retreated. For a moment, there was silence. Then, from every corner of the planet, cheers erupted. Strangers hugged in the streets. Tears of joy flowed freely. Earth had done the impossible. They had beaten back the Galactic Empire. As Captain Santos and her fleet returned home as heroes, Dr. Rodriguez allowed herself a small smile. "Well done, humanity," she whispered. "Well done." But in her eyes, there was a glint of something more. This victory was just the beginning. Earth was ready for the stars. The dust had barely settled from Earth's victory when a new challenge emerged. The retreating alien ships had sent a distress signal to the heart of the Galactic Empire. Earth had won the battle, but the war was far from over. Dr. Elena Rodriguez, now hailed as a hero worldwide, called an urgent meeting. "We've bought ourselves some time," she told the assembled leaders and military chiefs. "But we need to prepare for what's coming next." Captain Maria Santos, fresh from her triumph in space, nodded grimly. "The Empire won't take this defeat lightly. They'll be back, and in greater numbers." The room buzzed with tension. Humanity had tasted victory, but fear of the unknown still lingered. Suddenly, a young voice piped up. It was Jin, the gamer-turned-pilot who had played a crucial role in the space battle. "What if we don't wait for them to come to us?" he suggested. "What if we take the fight to them?" The room fell silent, then erupted in chatter. It was a bold idea, perhaps too bold, but as they discussed it, a plan began to take shape. Operation Starfall was born. Earth would send a small elite team deep into Empire territory. Their mission: to gather intelligence and, if possible, find a way to negotiate peace. The team was quickly assembled. Captain Santos would lead, with Jin as her co-pilot. Dr. Amina Okuro, the biologist who had saved Earth from the alien bioweapon, joined to study alien life forms. Rounding out the team was Yuki Tanaka, a brilliant linguist who had made significant progress in decoding the alien language. As preparations for the mission began, Earth continued to advance. The alien technology salvaged from the battle accelerated human progress by decades. Cities were rebuilt with new, stronger materials. Clean energy became the norm as scientists cracked the secret of the aliens' power sources. But not all was well. In some parts of the world, fear turned to hatred. Anti-alien groups sprang up, calling for the destruction of all alien technology. They saw the mission to the Empire as a fool's errand. One night, as the team was running final simulations for their ship, the Nova Esperanza, New Hope, an angry mob surrounded the launch site. "Stop the mission," they shouted. "Destroy the aliens before they destroy us." The situation was tense. Security teams formed a barrier, but the crowd kept growing. Then, unexpectedly, Sarah from New York stepped forward. She had traveled across the country to help with the mission preparations. "Listen to me," she shouted above the noise. The crowd, surprised, fell quiet. "I was there when the aliens first came," Sarah said, her voice shaking but strong. "I saw the fear, the destruction, but I also saw something else. I saw us, all of humanity, come together like never before. We didn't win because we hated better or fought harder. We won because we dared to hope, to dream of a better future." She pointed at the gleaming ship behind her. "That ship carries our best hope for real peace. Are we going to let fear stop us now?" The crowd murmured, then slowly began to disperse. Sarah's words had struck a chord. As she turned back, she saw Captain Santos smiling at her. "How would you like to join our mission?" the captain asked. And so, with the addition of Sarah as the team's diplomat, the Nova Esperanza was ready for launch. The day of departure arrived. As the team made final checks, Dr. Rodriguez approached with a small device. "This is our latest development," she explained. "A quantum communicator. It should allow you to stay in contact with Earth. no matter how far you go. As the team boarded the ship, millions watched around the world. This was humanity's first intentional step into the greater galaxy. Captain Santos took her seat at the helm. "Ready for this?" she asked her crew. Jin grinned, ready to make this the best game ever. Dr. Okoro nodded firmly. "For science and for Earth." Yuki gave a thumbs up. "Let's go talk to some aliens." Sarah took a deep breath. "For peace and our future." With a roar of engines, the Nova Esperanza lifted off. As it accelerated towards the stars, Captain Santos sent one last message to Earth. "We go into the unknown, carrying the hopes and dreams of our entire world. Whatever we find out there, we will face it together. For Earth." As the ship disappeared into the depths of space, a new chapter in human history began. The Galactic Empire had no idea what was coming their way. The Nova Esperanza streaked through the vastness of space, carrying Earth's hopes with it. Captain Maria Santos and her crew had been traveling for weeks, pushing deeper into unknown territory. Approaching the outer edge of Empire space, Jin announced from his console. The young gamer-turned-pilot had proven his worth many times over during their journey. Captain Santos nodded. "Everyone ready? This is where things get interesting." Dr. Amina Okoro looked up from her latest experiment. "As ready as we'll ever be," she said with a nervous smile. Yuki Tanaka, the linguist, was busy fine-tuning their translation devices. "I just hope they're in a talking mood," she muttered. Sarah, the newest member of the crew, took a deep breath. "Let's show them what Earth diplomacy looks like," she said, trying to sound more confident than she felt. As they entered Empire territory, alarms suddenly blared. "Multiple ships incoming," Jin shouted. A fleet of Empire warships surrounded the Nova Esperanza, their weapons trained on the Earth vessel. "This is Admiral Zix of the Galactic Empire," a harsh voice crackled over the comms. "Surrender or be destroyed." Captain Santos looked at her crew. They nodded, ready to face whatever came next. "This is Captain Maria Santos of Earth," she replied. "We come in peace and request a dialogue." There was a long pause. The crew held their breath. Finally, Admiral Zix spoke again. "You have courage, Earthlings, or perhaps you're just foolish. Either way, you've earned an audience. Follow us to Centauri Prime." As they were escorted to the heart of the Empire, the crew of Nova Esperanza prepared for their most important mission yet. Centauri Prime was a sight to behold. A massive space station that served as the capital of the Galactic Empire, it was larger than Earth's moon. As they docked, the Earth team couldn't help but feel small. They were led to a grand hall where the Empire's leaders awaited. Aliens of various species filled the room, all looking at the humans with a mix of curiosity and disdain. At the center sat Emperor Xalax, a being of pure energy contained within a crystalline form. His voice boomed in their minds. "So, these are the creatures that dared to defy our might. Speak, Earthlings. Why have you come?" Sarah stepped forward, her diplomatic training kicking in. "Great Emperor," she began, "we come seeking understanding and peace. Earth does not wish for war, but we will defend our home and our right to exist freely." The Emperor's form flickered, a sign of amusement or anger. They couldn't tell. "You speak of peace, yet you've destroyed our ships and killed our soldiers. Why should we not crush your insignificant planet right now?" It was Dr. Okoro who spoke up next. "Because, Your Highness, we may have something you need." She held up a vial. "This contains the cure to a disease that's been plaguing your outer colonies. We discovered it while studying your biology." Murmurs spread through the hall. The Emperor leaned forward, intrigued. "How did you know about the plague?" Jin grinned. "We're pretty good at gathering intel. Those game skills come in handy." Yuki quickly translated Jin's casual words into more formal language, hoping to avoid offense. Captain Santos took charge. "We propose an exchange. This cure and other scientific advancements we've made for peace and recognition of Earth's independence. The Emperor was silent for a long moment. Then, to everyone's surprise, he began to laugh. The sound echoed in their minds, both terrifying and fascinating. "Thousands of worlds have fallen before us," Emperor Galactic said. "None have ever had the audacity to come here and offer us a deal. You Earthlings are unlike any species we've encountered." He rose, his crystalline form towering over them. "Very well. We will negotiate. But know this. If you attempt any deception, your world will pay the price." As the diplomatic talks began, the crew of Nova Esperanza realized they had achieved the impossible. They had gotten the Galactic Empire to the negotiating table. Back on Earth, Dr. Rodriguez received the news via the quantum communicator. She smiled, tears in her eyes. "Well done," she whispered. "The real work begins now." As humans and aliens began their historic dialogue, the future of Earth, and perhaps the entire galaxy, hung in the balance. But for the first time, there was hope for a peaceful coexistence. The stars themselves seemed to shine a little brighter that day, witnessing the beginning of a new era in galactic history. Days turned into weeks as negotiations between Earth and the Galactic Empire continued on Centauri Prime. The crew of Nova Esperanza found themselves in the middle of the most important diplomatic mission in human history. Sarah, once just a coffee shop worker from New York, now sat across from alien diplomats, arguing for Earth's rights. Captain Santos watched proudly as her team rose to the challenge. But not everything was going smoothly. Emperor Galactic, while willing to talk, was a tough negotiator. "You ask for independence," he said one day, his crystalline form glowing with irritation. "Yet you offer little in return." Dr. Okoro stepped forward. "With all due respect, Your Highness, we've already shared the cure for the plague. But we have more to offer." She pulled out a small device. "This is a miniature version of Earth's planetary shield. It could protect your colonies from cosmic radiation." The Emperor's glow softened, showing interest. But before he could respond, alarms blared throughout the station. "We're under attack," an alien officer shouted. Outside, a fleet of unknown ships had appeared. They were firing on both Empire and Earth vessels. "It's the Zorgan Rebellion," someone yelled. Chaos erupted in the negotiation chamber. The humans looked at each other, confused and scared. "What's going on?" Jin asked, his hand instinctively moving to the weapon he'd been given. Yuki, who had been studying Empire history, quickly explained. "The Zorgans are a species that was conquered by the Empire centuries ago. They've been fighting back ever since." Captain Santos made a quick decision. "We need to help defend the station. It's our only chance to prove we're worthy allies." The team raced to their ship. As they prepared to launch, Emperor Galactic's voice boomed in their minds. "Earthlings, this is not your fight. Leave now, and we will continue our talks another time." Santos looked at her crew. They all nodded. "Sorry, Your Highness," she replied. "But where we come from, we stand by our friends." The Nova Esperanza shot out of the hangar, joining the Empire's defense fleet. Jin's gaming skills proved invaluable as he maneuvered through the chaotic space battle. Sarah, usually focused on words, found herself manning the weapon systems. "I can't believe I'm in a real space battle," she muttered, firing at an enemy ship. Dr. Okoro and Yuki worked together, using their knowledge of alien biology and technology to find weaknesses in the Zorgan ships. The battle raged for hours. The Empire fleet was stronger, but the Zorgans fought with the desperation of those with nothing to lose. Suddenly, a massive Zorgan battleship broke through the defenses, heading straight for Centauri Prime. "They're going to ram the station," Yuki shouted. Captain Santos saw their chance. "Jin, get us close to that ship. Sarah, prepare to fire everything we've got." The Nova Esperanza darted between laser blasts and debris, closing in on the Zorgan battleship. Just as it was about to hit the station, Sarah fired. The Earth weapons, enhanced with reverse-engineered alien tech, struck true. The Zorgan ship exploded in a brilliant flash, saving Centauri Prime. As the remaining Zorgan ships retreated, cheers erupted across all channels. The Nova Esperanza had turned the tide of the battle. Back on the station, the humans were welcomed as heroes. Emperor Xalax himself came to greet them. "You had the chance to flee," he said, his crystalline form glowing with a new respect. "Instead, you fought for us. Why?" Captain Santos stepped forward. "Because that's who we are, Your Highness. Humans don't just fight for ourselves. We fight for what's right." The Emperor was silent for a moment. Then, to everyone's surprise, he laughed. "I think I'm beginning to understand why you've given us so much trouble," he said. "Very well. Let us return to our negotiations, but this time, as equals." As word of the battle spread, the mood across the Empire changed. The humans were no longer seen as just another conquered species, but as valuable allies. Back on Earth, Dr. Rodriguez received the news with joy and pride. Humanity had not only stood its ground against the Galactic Empire, but had now earned its respect. The path ahead was still long and uncertain, but for the first time, it seemed that humans and aliens might find a way to coexist peacefully among the stars. As the Nova Esperanza crew prepared for the next round of talks, they knew that whatever happened, Earth's future would never be the same. The galaxy held its breath as negotiations between Earth and the Galactic Empire entered their final phase. On Centaurid Prime, the crew of Nova Esperanza had become unlikely celebrities. Their bravery during the Zorgan attack had changed everything. Captain Maria Santos stood before the Empire's Grand Council, her team beside her. Emperor Xalax's crystalline form glowed softly as he addressed the assembly. "We gather today to decide the fate of Earth," he began. "Once we saw them as primitive beings to be conquered. Now they stand before us as equals." Sarah stepped forward, her voice steady. "We ask not just for Earth's freedom, but for a new kind of relationship between our peoples. We believe we're stronger together than apart." Murmurs filled the chamber. Some counselors nodded in agreement, while others looked skeptical. Admiral Zix, once their captor and now a reluctant ally, spoke up. "The humans have proven their worth in battle, but can they truly contribute to our empire?" Dr. Okoro took this as her cue. She activated a holographic display, showing a series of scientific breakthroughs. "These are just a few examples of what humans can offer," she explained. "Our ability to think outside the box has led to solutions your scientists hadn't considered." Jin grinned, adding, "Plus, we throw the best parties in the galaxy. You guys could use some fun." Yuki quickly translated, turning Jin's joke into a diplomatic point about cultural exchange. The council chuckled, tensions easing slightly. As the debate continued, a message came through on the quantum communicator. Dr. Rodriguez's face appeared, looking urgent. "We've detected a massive Zorgan fleet heading your way," she warned. "They're out for revenge, and they've somehow copied our shield technology." The council chamber erupted in chaos. The Empire's greatest weapons had been nullified. Fear and anger filled the air. Captain Santos raised her voice above the noise. "This is exactly why we need to work together. United, we stand a chance. Divided, we'll fall." Emperor Xalax's glow intensified as he considered their options. Finally, he spoke. "Humans have surprised us at every turn. Perhaps it's time we trust in their ingenuity once more. Captain Santos, what do you propose?" All eyes turned to the Earth team. This was the moment that would define humanity's place in the galaxy. Captain Santos looked at her crew, seeing determination in their eyes. "We have a plan," she said, "but it'll take all of us working together." What followed was a flurry of activity. Humans and aliens, former enemies, now worked side by side. Dr. Okoro and Empire scientists raced to modify the shield technology. Jin and alien pilots ran battle simulations, devising new strategies. Sarah and Yuki worked on a different front. They opened communications with the Zorgan fleet, appealing for peace. "We understand your fight for freedom," Sarah told them. "We've been where you are, but there's another way." As the Zorgan fleet approached, tension reached its peak. The combined Earth Empire fleet took up defensive positions around Centauri Prime. The Zorgan struck hard, their stolen shield technology making them formidable foes. But they hadn't counted on the creativity of the Human-Alien Alliance. Dr. Okoro's modifications allowed their weapons to penetrate the Zorgan shields. Jen led a squadron of mixed human and alien pilots, their unorthodox tactics catching the enemy off guard. In the heat of battle, Sarah's words began to take effect. Some Zorgan ships stopped firing, responding to the offer of peace. As the tide turned, the Zorgan admiral opened a channel. "We've fought for centuries," he said, his alien features twisted with emotion. "Is there truly another way?" Emperor Xalax responded, his voice resonating across all ships. "Thanks to our human friends, we've learned there's always another way. Let us talk, not as conquerors and conquered, but as equals." The fighting stopped. In its place, a historic three-way negotiation began. Days later, as the Nova Esperanza prepared to return home, the galaxy had changed. Earth had secured its independence and a place of honor within a reformed galactic alliance. The Zorgans, too, were welcomed as free and equal members. Captain Santos looked at her crew, pride swelling in her chest. "Ready to go home?" she asked. They nodded, tired but triumphant. As their ship turned towards Earth, they knew they were leaving the galaxy better than they had found it. Back on Earth, crowds gathered to welcome their heroes. Dr. Rodriguez stood at the forefront, tears in her eyes, as she watched the ship land. Humanity had faced its greatest challenge and emerged victorious, not through conquest, but through courage, creativity, and compassion. The stars, once a source of fear, now beckoned with endless possibilities. As the crew of Nova Esperanza stepped onto Earth's soil, they carried with them the promise of a new era. An era where humanity would take its place among the stars, not as conquerors, but as peacekeepers and innovators. The message was clear to all. Earth was no longer just a small blue planet. It was the home of a species destined to change the galaxy for the better.